So, welcome to Real Lessons on Real Estate. My special guest today is Harmahinder Gaind. Welcome, Harmahinder.
Thank you.
Harmahinder is the broker owner of Executive Real Estate in Brampton, Ontario. And we're here today to talk about his wonderful brokerage, his fantastic staff, and all of the things that are happening in Harmahinder's world. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. Like always, you're so lovely, so encouraging, and so inviting. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. So, before we really dig into what's going on in the real estate market, Harmahinder, tell me about Harmahinder. Tell me about you and how long you've been a broker owner and what's going on over at Executive Real Estate.
Simple, 3 lines. A youngster moves into this country after 25 years in India, born and brought up there. I had a lot of dreams, had to make it big, had to knock it out of the park. That's the expression I always use. There's no point running around. You need to make it big. So that was the only dream that I came with, Lorraine, and everything just fell in place as time went by. You have to have targets, long-term, short-term, but I'm very happy where the things have turned out to be. Truly blessed. The team has worked out really well. And now it's up to the next generation to now pick up the bat and hit it out of the park. So that's what
congratulations, because that's a very difficult task.
Yes, it is.
And it takes a great leader to run a great team. How many people are working for you now, Harmahinder?
We're close to 100 agents in Brampton, and we are about 30 agents in Alberta.
Wow. Awesome. Yes. That's very, very good. Awesome. Right. Good for you. So tell me what is different about your brokerage. If somebody came to Lorraine and said, I'm looking to join a new brokerage, what would I tell them about Executive that would be different from somebody else?
It's like learning from your own family. The best teacher to date is my mom, is your dad, is your brother, is your sister. Your family teaches you the most. And that's what you get at Executive. Simple as that.
When I visited your brokerage and did a seminar for you and your agents, I really was very, very impressed by the camaraderie between the agents, right, with how you really were sitting in a boardroom like a family. Right. It was a very foreign concept to me. I have to be very honest with you. And I've been to a lot of brokerages in my life. Right. I really felt the warmth of those agents towards you and how they respect you, admire you. And those are in itself massive achievements in life.
It's a two-way traffic. I love them to the core. Everybody who joins Executive is not called sir and madam. There's no culture like that at all. They become instant family. Unless I can help them, I don't hire them. I'm very simple. We organically grew till here. And when you asked me for a podcast, and I've never gone out and asked for agents to join us.
Okay. So you're not actively recruiting agents. They just naturally come to you.
This is all organic growth. People that I knew, and people when they did well, others approached, and I only take on so many agents that I can train them well for the market. It's testing time. Not everybody does well, but
of course not.
We try our best.
Your son is a superstar.
Yes.
Very, very, very active agent, very successful. Right. And kudos to that, because that also had to be coming from your training.
I'll not take that credit. This young kid actually works really hard. So full marks to Team Jaidev and his team. I'm there as a back-end support. 0 to 10, I'll take all the credit. 10 to 100 is all them. If they sell 100 homes a year, which his average is 100 transactions a year, it's all him and the team.
I think that's part of any training, right? Because even if I'm training somebody, I can give you my 35 years of experience, but I can't make you do it.
Absolutely not.
I can't send you out in the world and say you have to do this.
What's that expression? Take the horse to the water?
Lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that is real estate summed up.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to be a superstar, but very few are putting in the work to actually get to that point in their career.
Everybody thinks the market is hard and that's why the results are not coming. I just want to remind all the young realtors, when the market was hot, even then, most agents were not actually performing. It was this cream which was still doing the maximum work. So if you're lazy and not doing enough, then it's up to the agent himself. I've had close to 20 years of experience now, and I can tell you there were years that I got lazy. And I remind all my agents, as a family, I push them to do well, because once you take eye off the track, it's very difficult to come back.
Well, it's like I tell people when they talk to me about farming. I was very successful in my career with farming. And I always remind them we do well, the phone is ringing, we're taking listings, we're making business, and then wham, they stop farming.
True.
And one morning you wake up and you go, oh, how am I going to get that business back? And literally it's like turning back the clock and you're starting again from zero.
True.
This job requires constant filling your pipeline wherever you're getting your business from.
Right.
And I'm going to say 95% of all agents at some point in time either get lazy or they stop doing what brought them money because they think that the money's going to continue to flow.
True. True.
And it doesn't.
Just
It
that
doesn't.
comfort level is your greatest enemy when you know that your bills have been paid for next 6 months, or you think there's lots of equity in the house. I'm giving you a very South Asian perspective. I know the society when we Punjabi, especially when we know that our home is paid off and we've got enough equity, we just stop working. So I'll make it very, very loud and clear that if you are an agent and if you want to stay in real estate for a long time, then have your goals set very, very high. And that you teach so very well. Lorraine, I attended your training and it actually gave me a new perspective even after being in the industry for such a long time. So thank you for doing what you do. You are just brilliant.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
just
I
brilliant.
love training agents. I want to see every agent be exceptionally successful. But there are ones that you can't convert them. You can't make a person want to work. You can want money in the bank, but I can't make you work.
No.
And I think that's proof when we look at Toronto Real Estate Board stats, for example. Yeah. Why is it 1% of all the agents are making all the money?
True. They have a business plan in place. They follow it through. These are tough minds actually at work. Mm-hmm. And kudos to them. Kudos to you. Mm-hmm. How come you have stayed relevant for such a long time? In my part of the world, we play cricket. And I've been a cricket fan all my life. There's a version of cricket that goes on for 5 days. We call it a test match. And for all the Western world, they still, all my friends from US and Canada, they still wonder how you can play one game, one match for 5 days. But that's real cricket. That's resilience. And that's what we need in real estate.
You have to be resilient here, and you have to be very, very dedicated.
Absolutely.
Dedication. Absolutely. You know, it's the same as if we talk about branding. Yeah. If you're not doing anything, how's anybody ever going to know who you are?
Absolutely.
They won't find you. The phone doesn't ring anymore the way that when you get a license. I remember 35 years ago, everybody thought, oh, the phone will just ring.
That's true.
It doesn't ring. And even 35 years ago, when we were using newsprint advertising, which doesn't exist today, to make that phone ring was a $2,000 adventure to get the phone call.
So true. So true. It still is. A simple billboard costs you $2,000 a month. A simple bus advertisement, gone are the days when it used to cost you a couple of $100. Mm-hmm. Now,
thousands a month.
Thousands a month. Absolutely. 4,000 or something was my last quote that they gave me on a bus. Mm-hmm. The whole bus wrap was 4,000 a month.
Yeah. It's an expensive industry, but very lucrative if you're smart and you're working hard to get ahead in life. I think it's an amazing career if you're a dedicated worker.
I never compare real estate to anything else because I've never looked at any options. This is it for me.
I compare it financially to other people. I like to compare it financially and say, doctors don't make this kind of money.
Not at all. Not even close.
Actually, the Prime Minister of Canada doesn't make the money on paper that we can earn. Isn't that just a privilege? Like it's a blessing to be able to, whether you're educated or not, to be able to be in the position where you have this type of income.
And how many variations do we have? Today, I don't feel like selling a home. I actually door knock gas stations. Mm-hmm. I door knock industrial units. So much to do. Mm-hmm. You never feel that the market is over. If the residentials get slower, you can actually door knock industrial. Commercial.
Yeah, of course. Businesses. So moving on from that kind of conversation, Harminder, tell me today what advice would you give an agent just coming out of real estate school today? What would you tell them that you think would be maybe one or two of the most important things that they can learn?
Back to basics, Lorraine. You'll agree with me on this. Gone are the days people will throw a lot of options these days. Gen Z comes with all the gizmos in the world. Social media is great. You need to be seen, though. I'll not take any credit away from there. But the basics, we have to go back to our basics where you need to know your client. That relationship has to be formed. You need to serve them to the nth level. Remember those 15 years ago when we used to, a sale used to take us like 2 to 3 months. I used to know my clients' kids' birthdays, their anniversaries, their pets' names, and I used to know their vets. Like we used to go take our dogs together to the vet. I mean, that's how close we got together. Like the clients were so close to me. At least personally, I can tell you, this is how I did my business. This is how. This was the way to survive back then. And I'm talking 2007, 2008, all the way up to 2015 when you see this Canada market just blow up out of proportion where everybody wanted to invest. So things have changed. One solid point for a newcomer to come in, learn, educate yourself to the level where you can be challenged. Buyers and sellers do challenge you, don't they?
They sure do.
So you have no scope of saying that you don't know, or you can't actually drop the ball right there. You do your door knock and people throw questions at you. If you go unprepared today, door knocking on a door knocking expedition, you're not coming back with anything in your bag.
No. Same as open housing.
Yeah, I've had youngsters reach out saying that, oh, we door knocked for 2 months and we haven't had any success. And I would ask them, what area did you door knock? And do you know anything about the area? They didn't. So I think that's where the gap is.
Yeah, definitely knowing your farming area is of massive importance. And you should actually know every single thing about it.
So true.
Every single thing. Where is the French immersion school? Where is the temple? Is there public transportation? And on top of that, and again, when I'm teaching agents, I tell them, why are you not in your farm area every single day looking at what's listed?
True.
Because how do you accurately price a home if you have not seen the other homes? Going online is not an accurate viewing
True.
of what's up for sale.
True.
I expect you to physically go into that property and know every inch of it
Absolutely.
in order to make the comparison.
Knowing the client, knowing the property is all-time requirement in this market. It used to be
Absolutely.
back then, and then people started selling online. They thought it's like selling stuff from Costco, but now
Not
we
so
know.
much. It's not so much
Now we
like
know.
that. Yeah, you have to be very knowledgeable. I even find I'm telling realtors, you're going to do an open house for another agent. Why did you not go to that home before the open house?
So true.
Then you're bombarding this agent who's, let's say, given out 10 open houses on the weekend. I think you can relate to this, or I know for sure your son probably can. Your phone is blowing up at 2 p.m.
True.
It's just blowing up.
True.
I don't know the lockbox code. How old is the furnace? How old is the roof? What's this? What's that? How were you not intelligent enough to get that information prior to going there?
I have a funny open house story, Lorraine.
Okay, tell me,
This is
please.
it. We are scheduling about 15 open houses, which is not now quite the norm. 15 to 20 open houses every weekend. Do agents, and this is a question to you, do agents believe that it's like, should they believe it's an opportunity, or is it a workload that you're getting this open house to do? My feeling is that these agents or the new agents think that it's, oh, we have been dumped with open house, whereas you and me used
Every
to think
open
it's
house is a $25,000 minimal opportunity.
Exactly. And this is where your training is so valuable. If nobody has attended your training, then they should come back to your classroom and see that what value it is to do open houses. I remember when my broker of record first time gave me open house, I took it with both hands. I was there 2 hours in advance. They said 2 to 4. I requested for 12 to 4. And I left at 5:30 in the evening. That's how we used to take open houses. It's the best way to put your name out. There's no parallels to, not doing open houses should not be an option, especially in this market.
If you are a dedicated agent and you understand the concept of an open house. Of course, first and foremost, our duty is to that seller to sell that property. But it is also an opportunity for you to showcase your own ability to people that are coming in.
True.
I would say if you were doing, let's just randomly make up a number, 50 open houses per year, which really is only one every weekend. That's not a lot of open houses. You should have gotten from those open houses a minimal of 5 listings and a minimal of 5 solid buyers.
True.
But again, coming through the door as a prospective open house attendee, if you're not knowledgeable, why would I be doing business with you?
Exactly.
So here's an interesting open house story for you. One of the brokerages that I was working at previously, there was a gentleman working in there, newer agent, younger fellow, and I would walk by his office and there would be 80 giant open house signs.
Wow.
And I would think, what the heck to myself are you doing with this? So one day I stopped him and I said, can I ask you what you do with these open house signs? He said, I put them out when I have an open house.
Wow.
I said, but there's hundreds of these signs here. Like I couldn't understand it. So he sat me down and he said to me, let me tell you how that works for me. He said, I consider an open house to be a day's work.
Right.
5 a.m. I'm up. I put the signs in every area where anybody can see my face, branding, big free branding. This is all free. We're just putting them out. And he worked the Milton market at the time. Within 2 years, he was the number 1 agent at that office. He was the first person in that office to ever make over $1 million.
Wow.
And as soon as he started to build his business, he just hired a company that put that out for him every single week. And he didn't do anything else to make a living except open houses. And he still reigns at that brokerage as a number 1 agent.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And we're looking and talking about agents that, again, are calling you at 2 p.m. from the veranda going, I don't know the lockbox code. You're not a professional. You're not professional. I don't let agents go to my open houses that have not been there before. I can't take 150 calls at 2 p.m.
Right.
with everybody going crazy because they don't have the answer to any questions. You should be prepared. This is what I say, again, in my training. Every open house is an opportunity to make a minimal of $25,000.
So true.
Why are you not treating it like a business? You're just showing up, texting on your phone, hanging around, not even making an attempt. And why did you not door knock that area prior to that open house to invite people to come there?
And it's so easy to now to create a virtual campaign online on your social media. You just have to say that you're going to be there.
Exactly.
Post some pictures, get some crowd in.
Yeah.
How's that for helping out the seller in this market?
And
people
go
do
to the
come in.
neighbors.
Oh, absolutely.
People think, oh, I love this expression, and I'm going to tell you, I have a new property myself coming onto the market this week in Bolton at $1.9 million, and I got the listing because a seasoned veteran agent in the business longer than me told them that she wouldn't do an open house. Kudos to her. Thank you very much. How could you be telling somebody in this market that you're not going to do everything in your power to get their home sold?
Yeah.
And this is part of that project. And I can't understand it. I can't understand how, on one hand, you're going to cry to me that I'm not making a living, but on the other hand, I don't want to do any work. Well, that's a great concept if you can make it happen, but it's not very realistic. I look at your son, I watch everything that he's doing on social media.
Right.
And when you're carrying massive inventory like that, and I've done it, this is not a full-time job. It's 3 jobs.
True.
It's true realtor dedication
Absolutely.
to get yourself to that point where you're building your brand that big that you're going to be the next, super realtor, I call them. And I've been Mrs. Super Realtor, and it's a lot of work.
It's
a lot of work. And it isn't for everybody. Not everybody can juggle,
So true.
10 or 20 things at once. But if you can, it's just an awesome business.
Oh, absolutely. Funny that you bring that up. And I actually asked Jaydev not too long ago that why don't you go on a vacation? Because they do take a few days off. And he said he can't afford it. And I said, money? He says, no, time.
Time.
It's over 20 listings. How do you find time to leave your desk? They've been working 7 days a week.
Oh, for sure, you're working 7 days a week.
And there's been no day off. Forget about a vacation. So that's how it is. There's another open house funny story that I actually lost my thought on. But coming back to it, I get a call between 3 and 3:30. And this is a random call from a passerby saying that your open house sign is up. I'm trying to ring the bell. Nobody opens the door. And then I quickly check back with Jaydev's team. And I'm like, who's doing the open house there? He gives me the youngster's name. This is a new agent. And then I find out that he never showed up for the open house. The signs were put up. He never showed up. So we're dealing with all kinds of people here. Now, should I give him another open house opportunity ever in my life? That's the question. That's the kind of dedication we're talking about. There's a super performer. There's a person who performs in your office only because they're dedicated. They know where they want to be. Rest everybody they just got the license just to maybe get their own house. That's the target. And I find that very, very funny, Lorraine. You must interview so many people like that too.
I think a lot of agents get a license because they think that it's just a really easy job.
Right.
We make a lot of money and don't really work.
Right.
That's what I see from
True.
people.
True.
And people will say, oh, how does he do that? Or how does she do that? Well, they're working all the time. They're, if I look at my own life, and again, 35 years I'm in the industry, I can't remember anything outside of real estate.
So true.
My life is real estate.
That's it.
If you couldn't remember my name on the street and you just yelled out the word real estate, I'd turn around.
True.
Because it's who we become. We're people, I don't want to say pleasers, but we're here to deal with people on a daily basis. We love homes. We love helping you get to the next level. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than when you bring a family somewhere that they're so happy. That's their next step in their life, the next chapter.
True. It's like growing with them.
1,000%. And I've been in my career long enough to have not just that person, but now their children and now their grandchildren almost.
Absolutely.
And it's like, wow, you're still calling me. This is amazing. It says something about your integrity and who you are.
Absolutely. In the beginning, I used to get this a lot where Jaydev would come to my table and he says, this is not fair, that's not fair, because how come you get to sell right from the office? Why do people trust you so much? And we are a young team. People don't trust us yet. I used to say, you know what, just hang in there. Keep going at the doors. Keep requesting business. Keep doing what you're doing. Be honest. Stay focused. And you will reap the results. And now they see the difference. Now I've seen people yelling Jaydev's name in a gym, in a market, very randomly when we are out with family. I've had instances where people would pay his restaurant bill just because they love him.
That's wonderful.
They find him very, he'll give you advice, real estate, business, personal, and then they just love his energy, and they have built up stories, Lorraine, and this is fascination to the next level when people build stories around you, and you'll be surprised. Somebody actually was telling me, and I didn't tell them I'm Jaydev's dad, and I'm meeting this family, and they said, oh, do you know that kid? That youngster has signs all over, and I purposely played dumb. I said, yeah, well, I've seen his signs. Oh, he was a student from India. So they built a story that he's a student, recent immigrant, and now he's in real estate and he's doing really well. And then I just smiled. I came off, and there was a colleague of mine, and he corrected them, saying that, well, oh, he's a Canadian. He was born here, and then you know what? This is how he's done his business. He's not a student. So I like the fact. I enjoyed the fact that people are building stories around you.
Of course,
So-
we're a huge part. It's another thing I talk about in training as well. The average agent doesn't do well from their sphere of influence. Why is that? Because the minute you do a transaction, you forgot that person.
True.
And I think we're going to see this a lot. It's something actually I'm building a little training program on this right now, a new training program. I think that if agents don't learn today to become less transactional and more relationship oriented,
True.
they're not going to be surviving soon.
And then this is it. 2025 is quite, it's already a witness to it. We are 5 months down. 2025, all the transactions I can count on my fingers are all relationship based. They're not a sign call, they're not ABC, they're all relationship based calls, listings, buyers. They're all, if you had that relationship, if you matured it, if you respected it enough, they're coming back to you. Otherwise, if it was just a transaction for them, especially in their mind, and you forgot to touch base, then, well, the game is lost. Half the year is gone. What do we intend 2025? But here I'm also going to ask you this question. What should I look forward to in 2025? You think 2025 will bring more surprises, or?
I don't think we're going to see any more surprises in 2025, but I think it's going to remain a very tough market where we're working much, much, much harder, especially for sellers. They're frustrated. They don't understand why their house is taking 90 or 120 days to sell. Very frustrating. I think that's where we have to become far more personable with them, in touch way more to keep them calm and understanding that it's not your home, it's not you, it's not the price of your home, it's the market in general. And again, you need to be, wherever your listing is, you need to be studying that entire market so that you can show your seller. Let's look at 10 listings in your area so that you can see everybody's on the market the same length of time. Or printing your sales where you can say, look, it took them 72 days to sell, but they still got their money. It calms down your seller. And I notice more and more this year that it is really, really a relationship-based business right now. And I think moving into 2026, and we're halfway through this year almost already.
Done.
I think, I believe if my statistics are completely accurate, we've lost about 6,600 agents so far this year.
Wow.
I predict by 2027 that number become about 25,000 agents, because agents aren't investing in themselves. They're not getting the knowledge. They're not doing the work that they need to be doing to carry through such a difficult market. Our fees are going up, which is going to hurt them. But I think that when we reach 2027 and we're sitting, and again, it's just Lorraine's personal prediction, at about 50,000 agents, I truly believe that we're going to head into what I'm going to call a real estate boom. Because what we're not doing now, everything else is still happening around us. Children are still being born. People are still passing away. People still need bigger homes. People are worried about jobs, so they'll move for that reason. People are getting new jobs, and they'll move for that reason. But a lot of that right now isn't happening because we're at a standstill with interest rates. What's going to happen? Everybody's panicking over these interest rates. I don't ever see them going back to where they ever were.
Yeah.
I think almost maybe one more interest rate drop and we're stabilizing around that point. And I think once the economy stabilizes a little bit, it's going to take a few more months, I think, before people calm down. All of those people are eventually going to come out and do the real estate that they wanted to do. And the strong survivors that helped everybody through the difficult market that we're in are just going to be flying. They're going to need to wear roller skates to keep up, I believe, with the business that we're going to be doing. So my advice to them now is, get your knowledge. Learn from the people in your brokerage that can help you.
Great time to learn.
I mean,
This is such a good time to go back to your drawing board.
absolutely.
Learning.
Make your plan. Get your business plan ready. Learn from everybody that's willing to talk to you,
True.
because otherwise you're not going to survive.
So true.
We can't hold your hand and help you do that transaction.
So true.
There's something that I do on my whiteboard when I'm actually in a training class, and I call it the 5 5s. Okay, that's what I call it. So if I told you every day to call 5 past clients, 5 new clients that you're working with today, current clients, I should call that, 5 people that you've met this year from an open house,
Nice.
okay, 5 people from your farming area, and 5 people from your sphere of influence. I'm not talking about a real estate call. I'm just talking about, hi, it's Lorraine Mondello. I'm here from Remax West. How's everything going? Just a general little 10-minute chit chat. So every day I did 25 phone calls. I would say that would take me about an hour and a half by the time I spoke to them. Some won't answer. I'm going to leave you a message. In 1 year, if you do the math on that, it is about 16,500 people you've contacted. If my ROI was only 0.5, I did 80 transactions from doing that.
It's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So if you're not knocking on a door and you're not doing an open house and you're not working your farm area and you're not working your sphere of influence, I'm confused as to where your business is going to come from. The fact is it's not going to come. And that's why you feel so down. It's never a brokerage. You and I have had this conversation before.
Yes.
You can leave 10 brokerages.
True.
They can't save you.
True.
Only you can save you in the real estate world. Only your perseverance and your dedication is going to make you a great realtor.
True.
We can blame, I'm leaving Remax because I'm not getting any business. Well, how are they going to give me business? They're not. You have to be a worker. And sadly, so many agents don't see that. And they just pack up, going to go here. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of money to go here because this is going to cost me a lot of money because everything's got to be new.
Right.
And nothing's going to change. Sadly to say, nothing will change because it's all within you.
It's quite unfortunate when people move brokerages and they think it'll change. Wish them good luck. If there's no change, like you rightly said, there's no change to your daily routine, then
nothing will
brokerages,
change.
It doesn't help.
It won't change.
True.
Absolutely not. So tell me what you think is ahead of us in the next year or two. Where do you see things going?
I'm in line with what you just said. 25 will remain quite challenging. But one thing I believe, Lorraine, from bottom of my heart, and this is with utmost humility, I will say, you got to stay confident. Properties don't sell. Sellers don't make money. Buyers don't get their dream homes just because the market is good or bad. They get it on two things. The sentiment has to be right. They have to be guided well. And the realtor's confidence. I've seen some youngsters just lose confidence. It's the buyer who's trying to bring up this realtor. And realtors, for some reason, they just sulk. And I'm like, what is in there for you to sulk? The buyer is so pepped up to buy because they're buying their first home. Mm-hmm. You're talking about interest rates. Tell me honestly, Lorraine, when you bought your first house or when I bought my first house, what was the interest rate? Did it even cross our minds? Absolutely freaking not.
My first house I ever bought, the interest rate was 12.9%.
Wow.
And I actually sold real estate, Harmahinder, when the interest rate was 21%. And we did a VTB on every house we ever sold.
And now tell me, or tell your fans online, tell me that interest rates matter and that's what is breaking the market. Absolutely not.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if I had a whiteboard here right now, I'd show you a graph.
Right.
And this is only a graph of the last 2 years. If 2 years ago, your house was $1 million, let's use just easy numbers for people that are going to be watching us, and the interest rate was 2.5%. And today I'm going to sell you that same house, but it's $800,000. Yep. And the interest rate is 4%. I need to tell you the payment's the same.
Absolutely.
Everybody is scared. Their social media scared because everybody listens to too much of what's happening out there.
True.
I don't know anybody in my own circle of friends that doesn't continuously just talk about Donald Trump. Yes. And I don't even live in the US. I don't know what that has to do with me.
True.
If you believe all of the outer circumstances that say you can't sell a home, the reality is whether you say you can or you can't, you're going to do whatever that is.
Absolutely. Sentiment, outside external factors play a very important role. Never taking any challenge away from your plate. But I'm asking all you young realtors who are going to be trained under your leadership, work with us. The whole fraternity is here to help you. Mm-hmm. But what we can't help you is with your own confidence. If you
No.
feel low, then you're low. If you're not a happy person, then you're not a happy person.
Exactly.
What do I? There's
When
no
you bought
training
your
that.
first house, I'm sure the only question you ever had, if you had a mortgage, I always had a mortgage. My only question I ever had to a mortgage broker was, what's the payment?
Exactly.
I never once asked what an interest rate was.
Absolutely. Can I afford it?
I never watched the interest rates go up and down.
True. That is so true.
I just said, how much do I have to pay per month to buy this house?
Isn't that true when we go and buy a car?
Yes.
That's the only question. I still have a very good friends who sold me cars, multiple cars, from this single dealership, and he would actually jokingly ask me every time, "What are you looking for?" And I'm like, "X amount of payments every month. What do you have? What's on sale?
Yeah.
What's on clearance?"
You
That's
don't,
what
you
it
don't,
is.
you don't call up a car dealership and say, what's the interest rate today?
Absolutely not. How does it matter? It's a business write-off. I just want to know my monthly bill, and I'm okay. I'm not wasting my time anymore. We used to shop cars and other things back in the day. Not anymore. Gone are the days. We just
And I agree exactly the same with the interest rate. I think that it's become a huge thing for people to talk about. But even statistically, if you took the average interest rate over the past 25 years, 4% is very, 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 very low.
Yeah.
Very low.
Absolutely.
Very low.
Absolutely.
And what greater time really is it for a buyer? It's a buyer's market. Right now we're in a buyer's market. Prices are down, and they're down a lot. I'm saying straight across the board, I think prices are down about 20% from 2 years ago.
True. Or more.
Go buy a house.
Absolutely.
Get a house.
And funnily, it's not the people who have bought multiple times or sold multiple times. It's the first time buyers. For some reason, they're sitting on the fence. And to them, my message is very clear. Unless you are in the market, who knows whether you're going to profit or loss? And it's your prime residence. Who the hell cares whether it goes down or up? You're not going to sell it. It's not a game. It's a proper, very informed decision. Get hold of a good realtor that you know. Choose one from the team, and then that's it. He will guide
That's
you the way.
another reason I think that the market will have a big peak soon, is because the government won't allow. If you look at real estate being the backbone of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other industries,
Right.
when we're not moving product, they're not making money.
Absolutely.
But the bigger factor to the government is that the government isn't making land transfer tax,
So true.
which is a huge portion of their income. So if things were to stay this way, they'll loosen the purse strings on what the qualifications are to get the first-time buyers back out there.
Absolutely. Challenges will come and go. We salespeople have to stay in the market. Governments will help us. I'm pretty sure I agree with you on that thought. With the new government in, I think Mike Carney is a great leader, economist. That's why we voted for him very openly. I do not endorse any political party. I know very little about politics, but I believe this guy. I've heard his speeches. He's quite good. So let's hope for the best, and that's all we can do. Keep our head high.
All we have is hope
Absolutely.
and the strength to keep going forward.
And my promise to everyone in the field is there's lots of work. If you realtors feel that there's any dearth of work, no sales happening, you're actually mistaken.
I agree with you completely. I really agree with you completely. Again, I talk about that a lot with people. I see people in offices together that are chat. It's never good. It's always negative. Stay away from that. Just get out there, do your work, make your sales, help people get to the next level of their lives that they need to get to. Whether you're working first-time home buyers or retirees, everybody needs to make a move at some point in time.
True.
So one of my famous last questions, Harminder, when I'm in a podcast that I like to ask people is this. If you could tell me something today that you would have told your 20-year-old self, that you know today, what would that be?
I should have been in the business sooner. I love this industry. We enjoy a great fraternity, honestly. I've met some great personalities like yourself.
Thank you.
We've had respect for each other. We've had guidance from each other, Lorraine. I'll be honest. I've learned from the best in the industry. I still consider Caroline Schneider my mentor. Lovely personality. Scott Gilmore, no better broker in the world ever. somebody can get and look up to. Lovely leaders. They teach you so well. And that's what we have to learn. This is a relationship-based business, whether with your clients or with fellow realtors. So
And we're blessed. It's a
Absolutely.
beautiful industry to be working in. It is truly, truly a blessing to
this
be.
camaraderie has to continue.
And you're right, to meet great people along the way, great realtors along the way. I've made so many friends in my life. I probably have more realtor friends than anybody at this point
I
in time
don't have
in my
any
life.
friends outside of this business.
See, there you go. Perfect example. But it's an amazing career. And for anybody out there that's listening today that's thinking, I want to get my real estate license, but I hear it's like this, it's like that. Everything is what you make it.
I'll tell you a fun fact, Lorraine. I have a database. I used to have a database, and still that database is quite impressive. And I'm talking to them almost every other day. And I have 50 people on it. When I started as a realtor, this list grew from one. I knew nobody in Canada. And then first year, between first 12 to 18 months, this list was done. I have 50 names in it, and I've worked with them over the years. Believe you me, 49 have become realtors, and they're part of my team. Yes, and the one that hasn't is a doctor. So that's what it is.
Well, you're always very refreshing to talk to, Harminder. I have to tell you that. And again, I just want to talk a little bit about your brokerage before we end. I really, really was very impressed with how that brokerage ran. I told you my little conversation that I had after I left there, and I just thought, wow, so many other places people don't talk. They're afraid to talk. They're worried about somebody taking my client or stealing my business. And yet, when you're open in this career, I find, and again, I always talk just personally, people would say to me, when I wasn't a trainer, they'd say to me, why do you tell everybody what to do? Why would I not? They're not taking my business. I'm helping you grow.
True.
As a human, this is a great quality. You have to help other people become successful. And if I can help them in any way, why would I not be reaching out to do that? And when I saw your brokerage and I saw how everybody was together, Matthew and I left that day, and the whole way home we talked about it, saying, wow, how refreshing that things were that way for you. And that just tells me, you can be as humble as you want, but it's the sign of a great leader in this industry. And I want to commend you on that before we end. And I want to tell you that truly I wish you and your entire brokerage every success that there is. And I'm always here for any question that you ever have for me.
Your presence makes me very, very positive, Lorraine, and you should continue coming to the office.
I will, of course.
Please.
I will.
And your suggestions are always so, so nice. Yes, this is a little family growing, and we'll need your blessings. This is what it is.
Always. And listen, any weekend you have another, I'll come out and do something different for you.
Thank you.
Love to do it. My pleasure.
Thank
you for being here with us today,
Thank you,
Harminder.
Lorraine. It was a pleasure.
All
Thank
the
you.
best. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. If you'd love to increase your sales and change the direction of your real estate career, visit us at www.therealestaterockstaracademy.com. Hope to see you back here real soon.